Hey guys, back with another what if here. It's been so long I actually did one, to be honest. I'm sorry, I've been like mostly sick or mostly too tired to get up. I'm very sorry. And I was coming back with this brand new what if. It's called What If Asta, Yuno, and Noelle, I'm sorry I misspelled because I didn't have time, had different types of sage mode. Not as like the same one as like Naruto has. It's like their own versions, like in like and and basically you know how I'm gonna do it like this. I'm not gonna explain. I'm gonna go into it. So beginning of like when the kid starts, like when Austin, was just kids, and the four-way land. Noelle was a kid, but in a way worse scenario. She's getting more beaten up by her siblings, and she literally instead of trying to oppress the family, she just dipped, like literally dipped. So basically, she basically literally because her hair color was so different, it was just like blue instead of silver, like silver hair color. So while this happens, Austin, will go in the forest, like how Austin usually trains in there, like with the demon skull. But in this timeline, and Austin will go in there, basically in there, and this just want to look around, and Austin feel like, and suddenly getting pulled to something, like something meant them to come here. And as for the same thing for Noelle, something's pulling her to come here. While that happens, the three main kids stopped at the same time, looking at the same thing. And Austin, just noticed a girl. And then the girl just noticed, Noelle just noticed the two boys. And she's kind of a little scared because she doesn't know other people abuse people like her family does. And also, literally getting the look like, "Are you okay?" And Noelle said, "No, I'm fine," stuttering basically. And said, "Oh, hi, my name is and this is Dorksta." Now, actually, he doesn't call him Dorksta. He calls him Asta because he's young. And he said, "Well, nice to meet you, Miss." And then she'll just say Noelle, but she doesn't want to use the last name. Actually, she doesn't want to even use it at all, to be honest. And they said, "Oh, cool, Noelle." And they asked why she was here, and then she said she doesn't know. It felt like something pulled her here. And Austin, was saying the exact same thing. Something pulled him here. And they look at the skull, to be honestly, and then the skull door opened because it shows three things: wind, water, and anti-magic. And then it opens for them, literally, and then they walk in. For some reason they just feel compelled to go in, and then the moment they got in, they just stopped and looked in shock. What they're looking at. Literally, on Noelle's side is a fucking. I don't know how to explain this one. She looks at a blue-ish, water-ish dragon. Nah. A blue, waterish. So it's a snake, but no. Waterish. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a dragon, to be honest. And then, Yuno and his particularly was looking at a blue. I mean, like a wind-ish, like a wind form of like a phoenix, but in wind time. And then also on his side, even though he doesn't have magic, he can feel the pressure of this thing. And then it's like a fucking. It's like an anti-magic. Anti-magic. I don't know how to. What type of animal should I give him? A tiger. I'm gonna go there. Anti-magic tiger. And the bees, the animals will look at the people who walk through, and then they looked at the Pacific Kid. And the one for the water one, the dragon one, looks at Noelle and says, "So you wanna come here to learn sage magic?" Yeah, I'm gonna call it in this way, sage magic. That sounds actually interesting. Sage magic. Or they prefer to call it sage mode, but they call it sage magic. Either way, they can choose which way they want to call it. And Noelle was like, "What is sage magic?" And the three beasts try to explain to the kids about sage magic or sage mode. Basically, like it went back in time, the history of sage, when people really don't have magic like that, or people who has a lot of magic can't control it, or people who doesn't have magic, basically looking at asta, will have the sage of sage anti-magic. If people have a high affinity for wind magic, will have the sage of wind magic. And the people who have affinity for water has a lot of affinity for water sage magic. We're just gonna call it sage magic, basically. And they starting to get it, and also just realize, so wait, I can become the Wizard King? And they look at him, if you work hard enough. And then also like, yes. And then, so they ask, do you want to begin these trainings? And they's like, yeah. Since it's like literally early in the morning, I'm gonna say that they trained. Literally, actually, first off, they took the Pacific kids into their own training rooms. Training, basically, I'm gonna explain asta. Asta, in a way, is literally like you know how he does his push-ups and set-ups and squats and all that. Basically, his training routine, he does it early now. He does it all, and that man becomes a beast after. Actually, he doesn't get full muscles like his ritual counterpart, but he's built for a kid. And while Yuno is basically getting trained in wind magic, since he's already good at summoning his magic already, it's about basically teaching them how to like believe in your magic, fade into your magic, basically. Yuno still don't get it, but he's still trying to figure that out. And then once he was about to get attacked by the sage magic animal, he actually phased into the wind, and he was shocked. He didn't even try to do that. And then the training begins straight on. Cutting to Noelle is learning how to. You know how basically I'm gonna do this. You basically know how in Black Clover, Noelle was gonna like suffocate by her own magic. Yeah, so this is like the test. Don't let the water suffocate you. You are the water. And then she's actually beginning to do it. Even though she's a prodigy, it's weird in this timeline. But they all learn specific things of their sage magics. And cut shot. Libe in this version don't really basically he is, how do I explain this? Basically, Libe is part of the anti-magic tiger, basically training to find the person who wield power of anti-magic. Basically, Libe is not like the devil, but he is the animal. And the books are there. Like, literally, the leaves they get are there. So, yeah, let me get that out the way. But Asta will still do get. Actually, I'll think about it in the future. So Yuno basically Asta's getting to teach how to use his anti-sage magic. Basically, he's like learning fast. Like, you know how this man learns how to read ki in the midst of a fight. I was like, bruh, you are fucking Goku, or you're a fucking beast out of nowhere, learning shit real quick. So Asta is learning fast. So is Yuno and Noelle, not behind, but she's learning how to control her real magic. And basically, she's literally basically becoming more and more swordsman woman like. I don't know why I keep doing them swordsmen, but I like it. And basically, everybody gets their own specific swords that contain their full powers if they go all out. So Asta gets a black and red, like the red, the red tip to a katana is basically like a line on top of it, and the blade is just black. Yeah, that's the type of thing it is. It's like that, but more doper. And they train, bro. Asta already made black slashes. The black, the sage equinox slash. Oh my, they basically like in the manga, but more different. It's literally like you can't see it until it hits you. Basically, becoming more and more like a swordsman, like Yami. And basically, he learns how to read ki. Oh, definitely, he does learn how to do that. He figured out in the midst of training. And basically, the anti-magic tiger would actually tell Asta to let the anti-magic be your eyes. And then Asta was like, huh. And then they realize it's almost like close to night, and they will actually come back tomorrow. But they actually stop and look at Noelle like, where does she live? Noelle was like, she doesn't live anywhere around here. And Asta and would actually take her back to the Hodge village. I think that's what it's called. Hodge village. Yeah, Hodge village, yes. and introduced her to Sister Lily and the father about she doesn't have any place to where to go, and they wisely let her in. So every like freaking early in the morning they go and physically train. They do physically training, to be honest. Long level, all three of them physically training. And then it was keep going up until like they keep mastering their techniques. Like Asta, oh my god, bro, anti-magic sage mode, bro, anti-magic, oh my god, bro, this is boss. I'm gonna say this, like literally compare his like union mode with this version. I'm gonna say, bro, this man can use anti-magic to boost his speed consistently too fast to see. The only people who can see this man is either Yuno or Noelle or captains. Is it compared to other people? Nah, not even close. Or except for Lit and other guys, yeah. And then Asta is getting more, and then he blends into this anti-magic. Literally said it sage anti-magic cloak, and this man fades into his anti-magic even though there's no magic in sight. This man is coming from behind and got them. Literally, that's how cool that shit is. Even though if Asa had this magic before and mastered this and made techniques out of this shit, this man would have been boss. And then the anti-magic beast said it's time. And then it was time for Asta Sage training magic. Like literally going to Sage mode, but Sage magic stage. And then he was going in this room to do his Sage magic. And then boy, the man becomes a wind sage, bro. This man is a beast. This man literally like Asta, but this man moves so fast in the wind, you can't even sense this dude's mana. Compare him to Lit, like a little bit underlit. Basically still a child, but underlit at this level. And then, bruh, this man makes a lot of weapon type swords. This is when help sage wind magic, sage wind, and then this man will summon a bunch of wind swords, bruh. Like literally said, sword hell wave, and then this is so just to drop this man's swords all the way down fast, bro. You can't even see them because the moment they try to fall down, they vanish and they still hit you. Even though I'm not trying to make this bro broken, but that sounds like a broken technique, to be honest. And then I said almost said super. Yuno is basically learning every fast motion. Like he uses wind to blend in. Like literally he's at wind stealth mode. And then this man just vanished and you can't sense him or not. He'll be just like Austin, bro. He'll be there and you won't know it. And then it was time for Yuno to begin his training in Sage mode. And then it was up to Noelle. Basically it's like the other two. Basically, where she runs, she fades in the water. And then, bro, she like literally all the techniques she had, like Sea Dragon's Roar, Cradle, and all that. Oh, she developed them better. Basically, she said Sea Dragon's Cradle, but AKA she changed it like Sea Dragon's Roar Cradle. And then literally once the cradle gets you, there's a fucking dragon in it. Like a fucking roaring monster right there, and they just got you. And then I'm still gonna give her this too. She will get like the water cloak, and then she'll fade in the water, and they'll think it's just gonna be a normal puddle, but she'll actually just be right behind them. And then just like literally do the same thing that Asta with Yuno will do. And it will begin her time of learning her Sage Water Magic mode. And then they will begin in 3 times. Sometimes they will fail. Sometimes they have to get slapped out of it. And sometimes they will like get the imperfect form. Even though every day, each day, they was beginning to perfect it over and over and over until they actually look like they perfect their form. And then also the eyes will turn red, slit like a fucking like a tiger. And then he'll get these red markings on his eyes, and there'll be a symbol on his head. Basically, like that bandana on his head in this picture. Imagine that big symbol on his head. Once he activates his sage mode, basically his physical strength will be more increased. And the moment he throws like a slash, they'll think it'll just be normal anti-magic, but Asta can move that slash. And like he can teleport where that slash is to just cut you. And then literally this man can literally just blitz, and to be honest, if you can't sense key, you're fucked either way. And this man can literally fade into like thin air, like anti-magic thin air way. Like the anti-magic birds, if he does it, they can't sense him. That's how advanced this shit is. And he will get the wings. You will definitely get the wings. And he will also get the armor. Basically, like the samurai. I like the samurai armor better than the other ones. I don't know why. I just like it because it's cool. But here's the thing: he will not get the horns because it's not like devil union, but it's just like sage union. So basically, this man becomes a living, walking anti-magic calamity. So you'll be fucked either way. Cutting the Yuno, boy, this man, just like with Asta, like imagine that crown on top of his head in this picture on Yuno, the green one. Imagine that's his symbol when he goes full sage mode. Basically, his hair will turn green. His wind magic is beyond level. And this man can just vanish whenever and literally get you. Bro, even if you try to blast at him, that will not even touch him. It will just go through him, and then he'll just literally just finish you off with a sword. And then he will literally, in this way, will summon a whole wave of wind and then just throw it at you. And you think you can block it? No, boy. Once that wind hits you, you are fucked. And then cut it to Noelle. Oh god. And then her sage mode is basically like her ultra stage mode, but more different. Imagine like in like the crown on her head, like basically with the halo on her head, is the symbol of her sage mode. And her sage, like her eyes will turn basically like a watery slit eye. And I did forget, his will be a white, like, not slit, but like basically like different color of wind in his eyes. But for Noelle, it's slit in blue. Asta is red and black, basically. So basically, she's like a freaking samurai water major. So she can literally attack and then vanish right behind you in that attack style, then literally hit you with a straight hit. And this is not fully perfected either. This is not fully perfected sage mode yet. And they are literally doing this every day until like 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, and 12. And they still doing the same routine over and over until they perfect it. And then it go up to 13, 14. And then age 15, I fully mastered this shit. Like literally, bro, they can, if 3 of them take on the captains, it will not even be a funny fight. Literally, they whopped all of them. Well, Asta will whop them regardless. But if Yuno and Noelle was by themselves, they can't fully whop them. But if they was together, they would destroy them. But Asta could just walk them easily. Even though he doesn't have magic, he could sense with ki and his anti-magic. So you're fucked. This man is literally a walking calamity for anti-magic. So basically, Asta is literally built different. Yuno and Noelle built different in their own way. So while this is going on, they get matured. Asta is not short in this timeline, more taller, like just like 1 meter under Yuno. Noelle is the same height as in canon, but more mature. And they will begin going to, like, they said, wait, if we get our powers right now, how are we gonna get our grimoires? And they said, don't worry about that. Since you're our masters anyway, we'll actually be there. And then the moment they go there, they sense their teachers disappeared. And they said weird. And then literally when they go in, no one really recognized Noelle, like the royals and all that. Asta and Yuno are more built different, if you get what I'm saying. And literally, the moment they walked in, the ceremony to begin, and then the grimoires will go down to everybody gets like 1 leaf, 2 leaf, 3 leaf, keeps going down, 4 leaf, not 4 leaves, 3 leaves over and over until it hits Yuno, Asta, and Noelle. And I'm gonna say this: 3 lights come down, a yellow grimoire, a blue 3 grimoire. I'm gonna say hers is 4 leaf now. And then the 5th grimoire. Yes. But it's different than, like I told you, Liebe is the animal, but different. And they get their specific grimoire, and they see all their skills they made over the years. And they was basically like just clap and just walk away. The people who try to beat up Yuno before, they didn't even stand a chance. Even like Chain Mage didn't even stand a chance. That's all I can say. And they will begin to try to go back to their masters and try to show them, but they're not there. And then they read, there's a letter on the wall saying, we are your grimoires, since you are our masters. And they was like shocked and just happy. But they'll keep this place under wraps. And it will say in the print of the thing, if you want to train, just literally summon your anti-magic portal or wind or water magic and you'll go through. And they said, cool. And then they'll train even harder than before. Even though they have perfect save mode, they are beyond training level. They got more skills than before. I am not going to name them until the next part. Hope you guys like it. And the next part will be going to the capital. Peace. Love you guys. Hope you guys like this video.